Come on now. There we go. That will make it a little bit easier. Got that? Your
Hi.
sister. Hello.
Yes, so my sister at 11 years old was a claymate. Um,
What do you mean was?
oh no, she is 100% still. But it's amazing to me because now she's this revered sixth grade teacher who goes around the country and talks to hundreds of people, and she still brings you up. She's always
So
admired you
I'm
because of
I'm doing well. I'm doing well in the sixth grade market now.
you are
No.
doing. I have to tell, like, she's like, please get a shout out. Her name is Lisa. And
Hello, Lisa. Keep doing your work, and I'll keep doing mine, and hopefully our paths will cross one day.
oh, well, we'll hopefully meet you at Cerritos next month.
Oh,
So
good. Oh, good.
give you
Okay.
a big hug. Yeah, and I have to tell you, she had this pillowcase that said "Wake and Clay Aiken."
Oh, God. God bless her. Now, she might not want you telling all that.
I had to. But, okay, so now that we got that out of the way.
Okay.
um so anyways, it is such an honor. I talked with Ruben last week, and he was wonderful. And it just always seems like you two always just had a great time together back then and now. How do you maintain this friendship for so long, 20 years?
I don't know. People ask that very question a lot, and I think to myself, I don't maintain other friendships either. I mean, friendships that are real and true, they stay solid. I mean, I think ours is just genuine. It always has been, and so we don't have to work at it. I don't think we had to work. I don't think I really work. Do you work at friendships? I don't work at friendships. They work if they work. And we
Well,
went something together, and it made us. It bonded us, and now we're like family.
that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I guess when I say maintain too, because of the fact that there's been 2 decades, and he said that your group at that time even have a group text
Yeah.
now, and everyone stays in touch. What do you think made your group special in comparison in that season?
I think it probably had a lot to do with the fact that we had no idea what we were getting into.
Mhm.
Um, when we were on Idol, it had been on the summer prior and had not been. I mean, it had been enough of a hit that they renewed it, but
Mhm.
it had not been some juggernaut.
Right.
So when we went on to it, all of us thought, okay, well, we'll go on to this show and maybe we'll get to make an album and then we'll go back to doing what we were didn't do before. I don't think any of us, there were no stakes necessarily in what to expect. And I think that made seasons 1 and 2 um, different because, in subsequent seasons, if you were in season 3, by the time it was time to do season 3, you had already seen that our season got 40 million viewers. You had already seen that Kelly's album went platinum, and you knew what was at stake. So people, I think, went into all the subsequent seasons thinking, okay, this is a serious competition, and I'm not coming here to make friends. I'm coming here to cutthroat win. We didn't. None of us went into it for that reason. So we made friends first, and then what came of the show came of the show. And also, the show itself was different. It was a much lower budget back then. So we all lived in a house together, and there were just a few producers, and they kind of drove us around, and it was far more. It was the Wild West in a way back then. So we did not. We were the show was created or set up in a way that us contestants were, you know, bound together by the production, and also just, we didn't have the fancy Hollywood treatment necessarily that I think later seasons did, and that helped us bond also.
Well, after your season, it seemed like you and Ruben just blew up and, dare I say, became sex symbols.
Maybe for your sister, I don't know.
But I mean, you did. I mean, like I said, Claymates, and you had quite the fan base. And I mean, I remember I went to your tour. I've seen you at the time. I saw you, I believe, perform 3 times. And
That's more than my mother has. Thank you.
And just the voice of an angel, let me tell you. But you put on a great show, but it's amazing to me that you went into this competition and the next thing you know, you're on tour and people are calling your fan base, like Claymates and this and that. What was that like to go from 0 to 1,000,000?
I don't even know how to describe it because it happened so long ago, but it was such a whirlwind that I think that for both of us, for me for sure, I don't think that we really quite were able to process it until, maybe things never slowed down from the minute we were on Idol until, gosh, I guess the first break of any kind I had was probably not of any substance to really process things that I had was not until maybe after my tour with Kelly in 04. So probably a year later, after I toured with Kelly, I sort of got to look back at things and realize, holy crap, look what has happened in the last year. I mean, it was very quick. It was a whirlwind process. So I don't really know what it was. I mean, I think it certainly was and still is different than any other artist who kind of slowly builds a fan base, and over time they start gaining more followers, and it's like putting the frog in the frying pan. With us, there was no frog. It wasn't a frog in the frying pan. That frying pan was hot. We hit it, and it was off to the races. And so I don't think I ever really had a chance to process it. And hell, in some ways, I might have taken me years to do that. So I don't know how to answer what it was like, because I think part of that might be blocked out of my memory.
Well, Ruben had discussed a little or told a story of some of your crazy fans, and
My crazy fans?
I had to ask, yeah, and one in particular that he said was at every show, and there was a little concern there when he told the story.
I'm trying to figure out which one it would be, because we have a few that come to everyone, and now we have some that come to every one of them of ours, and they are fans of both of ours now. So I don't know which one the ones who came and come to multiple shows, I'm no longer concerned about, because we've gotten to know them very well.
Right. What's the weirdest thing a fan has given you?
God, I don't even know. The weirdest thing? I don't know if I could name the weirdest thing, although I could probably work on it, because my mom tends to keep all of it. If anything that a fan gives or sends, my mom has kept it, and she's got a huge room above the garage in her house that is essentially a shrine-like museum quality monument to everything anybody's ever given me. I had some young lady make a incredible Afghan quilt for me on the last leg of this tour, which I have kept, and it's not in my mother's room because I've kept it for myself. I don't know if I can think of one. It'll probably come to me in a minute, and it'll be after we're done, and I'll scream, "Oh crap! I should have told her this," but I can't think of
it. That's okay. So I remember you on The Apprentice. I'm sure that you're asked,
yes.
I'm sure you're asked this pretty often, but I do want to know, did you gain anything from that after?
Gain anything? No. What do you mean gain?
Like, did it lead you anywhere? Did you learn anything from it that you apply to today, or?
No, but I did enjoy my time on it. I will say that. I mean, I made friends on that show who I have probably kept in touch with just as much as I did with some of the folks from Idol, Penn Jillette and Dee Snider, Arsenio Hall, Lisa Lampanelli. I mean, it was a great group of people who I got to work with as contestants. The contestants where I enjoyed working with, not necessarily all the other people who are on camera. But I don't know. It was a fun experience. I enjoyed that more than I expected to. But I don't know that I learned anything. I learned something about myself, maybe. Just I surprised myself. Maybe I was smarter than I realized I was, or either everybody else. dumber. I don't know.
No, I remember. I mean, you made it far, and you seem to have a very strong business mind, and that was something that really stood out to me at the time.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Apprentice was ever about having a business mind so much. It was about having a little bit of a marketing mind, which I might have somewhat some skill set, but also just it was more about knowing how reality TV works and what producers need and what they want, and making sure that you give it to them in a way that does not make you look bad. It was a fun learning process in the whole reality TV show world.
Got it.
But there's no such thing as reality in reality TV.
Yeah, so I've heard. Well, with fame comes money. And let's say, what was the best purchase you've made, and what has been the worst? If any. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think the things that I probably appreciated being able to do most were when I was able to get something for someone else. I mean, I was able to pay my mother's house off right after Idol. I was able to get my brother a car that he had long wanted. Those types of things are more important. I mean, I'm not as you can see by my very stylish attire right here, I'm not necessarily a clothes horse or that type of thing. I think the stuff that I was able to buy for others, I mean, obviously being able to buy a house is nice, and it's not something that I expected to be able to do at the age of 25. So that was certainly nice to be able to do at such a young age. But I'm not a big buyer of things necessarily.
Got it. Well, this is, for your current tour with Ruben, and you guys are coming to the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts, November 17th. Can you tell me a little bit about what your audience will experience that night?
Well, our goal is to try to recreate 2003 in as many ways as possible. I mean, it was obviously a pivotal and seminal year for he and I, but I think what made Idol so good and what made people love to watch it back then was that they could sing along with every song. They could, it was a show that you could turn on with the family and watch and kind of know the music and learn about the music and hear people sing in it different ways. And so we kind of made a point this time around not to make this show, this 20th anniversary, about us, he and I, recreating songs that we've recorded, but instead of recreating that whole Idol experience. So we talk a lot of it about the show and what it was like to be on it, and the stories that we have for behind the scenes, the things that were really important to us. We sing a lot of the songs that we both sang on Idol. Mm-hmm. That's probably those are the songs that people will hear from us that they will recognize. Obviously Ruben's going to do Flying Without Wings. I do Bridge Over Troubled Water, and we do a lot of the songs that were most impactful for us while we were on that show. But the whole idea is to try to recreate the nostalgia around that year and that time, and that very interesting moment in the TV show's history where it went from being a show that people had heard of to a show that everyone watched and the whole country kind of joined in participating in together. I mean, no season has ever had episodes as rated as high as our finale was, and so we're trying to relive those moments.
How exciting. That's something that I feel like a lot of shows right now too are very everyone's trying to bring back that nostalgia, and it's like almost like that feeling like when life was good, the good times pre-pandemic.
Yes, when people could gather around and enjoy something together without having to find some way to argue about it. People might have argued about whether it was Ruben or Clay or Kim Locke, but we all still enjoyed the same show together.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something too, because if you were to look at that time period, nowadays it seems like even with American Idol, there is that rivalry. And you and Ruben, it was the greatest rivalry of all time at the time, but there wasn't really a rivalry between you two. It just seemed like
that makes it easier for people to watch too. I mean, nobody wants to watch mom and dad fight. People want to root for someone, and it's much easier to enjoy it if you can kind of root for both of them. You have a preference, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this because I'm not really a sports person, and plenty of people watch sports. But it's more enjoyable when you can appreciate the competition itself without feeling like someone. Neither Ruben nor I in our competition had to make the other lose. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Whether it be in politics or athletics or whatnot, sports, you really have to, in order for one side to win, the other side has to lose. And that was not necessary on Idol for us. That was not necessary for us. It's not necessary in Idol in general. Both could win. We both won. He won the title, so to speak, but I won as well. And I've been able to do this for 20 years. And so I think that's what made Idol and made that period enjoyable for everyone. We can, as Ruben has said before, you can win without making somebody else lose, and that's what we did.
Love it. Love that. Well, for you now, who is Clay Aiken today? Because I've like I said, I've followed you through your career and the politics, and who are you today?
What do you mean? I don't know who I don't know that I'm any different than I ever was. I'm the same person I was 20 years ago, just older, fatter, and more wrinkly. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm a father now, obviously, and that has probably tamed me a little bit. Not that I've ever really wild or anything. I don't know. I like to believe that I'm the same person today as I was back then because I've always made an effort to. Well, I've made an effort to not make an effort, if that makes any sense. I've done my best to try not to try to be somebody I'm not. So here I am in my old sweatshirt that I promise you I wore yesterday also. I like to be the same person as I've always been.
And I know that you're very involved and you always have been in charity work. Are you still working with the National Inclusion Project? Is that still?
We just celebrated our 20th anniversary last month. Oh wait, what? It is still October. So earlier this month, we celebrated our 20th anniversary with NIP. So that's been another blessing, something that I certainly would have always loved the idea of being able to start, but never thought I'd have the opportunity to do it. And so starting that 20 years ago became a gift, and the fact that it's still going. We've got programs that we work with in over 40 states now, and so I'm thrilled that that's something I'm still able to add to the gifts that I've been given and trying to be able to give back in some way.
Wonderful. Well, like I said, this is such an honor, and I really enjoyed this. I know I'm like gonna go text my sister now. I'm like, it happened. But
tell her I said hello, and make sure you come. She's coming with you, hopefully, to Cerritos. So you two come back and say hello, please.
Thank you. She's gonna die. All right.
Well, let's not go that far, but okay. I'm still wearing this sweatshirt. She'll be like, thanks so much, Jackie.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.